Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today is Sunday, the 25th of June 2017. Thank you so much for checking out my podcast if you're watching for the first time, and thank you for coming back if you've watched before. I hope that you'll like this podcast, and if you do, please do click on the subscribe button. So I'm so happy you're here with me today to talk about some knitting. Once again, I'm going to try to keep this relatively short, but we'll just see how we go. First of all, we have a Ravelry group, which is called the Happy Knitting Podcast group, and that's where you can find the current knit-alongs, introduction threads, coupon codes, shameless self-promotion threads, and of course the show notes. So if you have any questions, head over to the Ravelry group, which will be linked in the down bar, and just go to that thread and I will link all of my projects. So that way you should find all of the needle sizes, colorways, anything to do with my projects really. So let's just jump right in. Knit-alongs, like I said, just go to the group and check it out if you're interested. I will jump straight into finished objects. So I have 3 finished objects today, and just as a warning, all of the things that I'm going to show you today are either socks or sock yarn. So just be prepared. If you're not a sock knitter, maybe this might not be the episode for you, but then again, this might not be the podcast for you because I love knitting socks. So the first pair I have to show you are actually still a little bit wet, and this is a pair that I haven't even shown you as a work in progress. You might remember last week I showed you my finished hand spun, and I spun up a chain ply or 3-ply sock yarn, which was a little bit heavier weight, probably around a sport weight, and I decided to just cast them on and knit a pair of socks out of it. So I spun this on my Woolmakers Bliss wheel. That's the right way around. I think it's a merino bamboo blend, but I'm honestly not quite sure because it was some really cheap fiber that I got like 2 years ago, I think. So this is what I ended up with. I just cast on a top-down sock because I didn't know how much yarn I was going to have. So I cast on 24 stitches and knit a vanilla sock. I knit a fish lips kiss heel and then ribbing. And I had a little bit of yarn left over, but not that much because I think it was barely like 90 grams of hand spun 3-ply yarn, because at some point I was sick of spinning more. I have quite a bit more of this fiber lying around. But anyway, so I'm actually quite happy with them. Considering my hand spun quality, I used to be so much better at spinning sock yarn, so this is very lumpy bumpy, and when comparing this to my previous hand spun socks, I'm not very happy with it, to be honest. But I just wanted to knit it up and have it out of my stash, and I'll see how these will wear. These are quite thick, so I'm probably going to use them mostly as sort of house socks. And yeah, we'll just see how they go. If they don't last super long, I don't care, but I did actually apply this and spin this quite tightly, so the yarn should actually be really hard wearing. So you can see they look pretty much alike because I spun from a blended fiber, and that gave it a sort of really light marbled effect. So from far away they just kind of look like purplish gray, and then when you look closer you can see all the different shades of colors in here. So yeah, I'm happy they're done. I completely winged it in terms of needle size. I think I did a 2.5 millimeter needle, which is a US 1.5, and I don't even remember. I just kind of kept increasing until it kind of felt like it was the right amount of stitches, and I just winged it, to be honest. But I'm happy they're done, and like I said, they're still a little bit wet, and I haven't tried them on yet, so I just hope that they'll fit. But they do fit my sock blocker, so I think they should fit my feet as well. So that's my first finished pair of socks. My second pair of socks that I finished are, of course, my Flamingo Leglocks, which are the socks that I knit out of stranded dyeworks yarn from the UK, from Amy, in her Flamingo Legs colorway on her Oasis fingering base. And I ran out of sock blockers, which is why I only have one on the blocker. So again, these are vanilla socks. They are for me. I knit them on a US size 1, 2.25 millimeter needle, 64 stitches, with a fish lips kiss heel, and I really love these. I'm really happy with a sort of longer leg. I really enjoy longer legs on my socks, and you can see the stitch marker. This is where I was last week on my second sock, and my first one is already done. So now I have a pair, and just in time to enter it into Amy's Brit Knit Cow, which I think ends in like couple of days. So yay for that. And I also finished another pair because I was stress knitting and in a finishing mood. So I finished these socks. These are mustache yarns in the apple picking colorway in her merino nylon base. These I knit top down as a tube and then knit afterthought heels. I really like the effect that I got out of these, and again I'm super excited to be wearing these. I have a second one, again not on the sock blocker, but these are exactly matching. It came in a sort of 250-gram skein set, and I made sure to pull from the same side of the ball for the heels, so these are completely matchy-matchy, which makes me very happy. I love these. Thank you so much to the lovely viewer who gifted me this yarn, by the way. Again, I knit them on US size 1, 2.25mm, 64 stitches, and I used the Kirby Werby afterthought heel, in case you're interested. So I'm super happy to have all these socks done because I had quite a lot of socks going. I did cast on a few more, but yeah, I'm excited about these. And these are all selfish socks, in case you didn't realize. I stole some tea from Kai before. I have no idea what I'm drinking, but it's some kind of green tea, which is fine. So let's move on to works in progress. Again, all socks. You have been warned. First of all, I'm still knitting on my, I'm calling them my Excuse Me socks because I'm using the leftover yarn from my Excuse Me shawl. So the yarn that I'm using for the main color is Wollenwein Wolke, which is her MCN base in the Pandora colorway, and then as a contrasting color I'm going to be using Das Mondschaf in the Rapture colorway. So okay, like I said, these were leftovers, so again I'm knitting top toe up so I can just see how long I want to knit these socks and how much yarn I have left over. I've already divided everything into 2 equal cakes of yarn. So the pattern that I'm knitting is the Times Square socks by Mina Phillip as part of her New York sock club. It's a cable pattern which doesn't really show up super intensely on this yarn, but I don't care. It's just really fun and really intuitive and easy to read, but I haven't made a huge amount of progress. You can see my stitch marker here. I think I picked it up like once or twice, and this is how much progress I've made. I'm going to be putting in afterthought heels, so theoretically I'm not quite sure if I want to make these like long socks. I probably could make them relatively long, or if I want to start the ribbing pretty soon and have them as sort of like shorter summer socks. I'm not really too sure. I think I'm going to put the heel in somewhere like maybe around here. So if I put on some ribbing, they'll already be kind of like medium height anyways. I really just don't know yet. So this is what the pattern side looks like, and the vanilla side looks really pretty as well. I'm still loving knitting with MCN yarn for socks. It's definitely got a bit more of a halo to it, but I think it's really beautiful. So yeah, those are my Times Square socks. Like I said, I didn't really knit on them very much. And the other 2 pairs, one of them you've seen before. The other pair that I already showed you last week are the socks that I'm knitting for Kai out of Wollmeise yarn. These socks are knit out of Wollmeise Twin in the Thriller colorway. And as you can see, I'm already quite far with these. I'm knitting them 2 at a time. They're super bright. And this is what I've done. So I don't think I put in a marker, but I was sort of like halfway down the leg last time I showed this to you. So I put in 2 fish lips kiss heels. And I'm almost at the point where I can start the toes. I think I have like 1 or 2 centimeters to go, and then I'll put it in the toes and then I'll be done. Kai is really excited about these. He loves the colors, even though they're super crazy. He's been complaining about not having enough hand knit socks, which is frankly not the case, but anyways, I know he's going to be really excited about these. I'm knitting these on 2.25mm needles, but because the yarn is slightly thicker, I'm only doing 64 instead of 68 stitches that I would usually do for his size feet. But yeah, I'm really enjoying working with this yarn again. The previous pairs of Wollmeise socks that I knit them quite tightly, and that made them very robust and stiff. So these ones I'm knitting a tiny bit more loosely, and I'm really liking the fabric that I'm getting. It just feels really nice. And you can see the stitch definition is nice on this yarn as well. So these are Nella socks, and then of course I cast on another pair. So I cast on the hand-spun ones, which I've already shown you, and then I also, which is I guess part of my acquisitions, I ordered this needle, which is the Adi Sockenwunder, or Sock Wonder. And I tried regular sort of 9-inch needles before and I hated them. Like, I hated them so much. But Adi brought out these needles, which are like a 9-inch circular, but they have one longer and one shorter needle. So I just thought that sounded really intriguing. So if you have a look here, you can see this is where the cable ends, and one of them is really short and one of them is slightly longer. So when you knit, you have the longer needle on your right hand, and that makes it a lot more comfortable to knit. So whereas with the general normal 9-inch circulars, I could not knit at all. With these, I got into a rhythm relatively fast. So I'm actually quite enjoying it. I can't say I'm faster than with my magic loop so far, but I don't think I'm that much slower either, and it's super easy to take away. Like, you just have this tiny needle and you can just stuff it into your project bag. So I cast this on just to try these needles, and so far I'm actually really liking them. I chose the 2mm size because I didn't have a 2.25, and I knew that my gauge was going to be probably a little bit looser anyways, and that's definitely the case. So I think with my normal stitch count of 64 stitches on a 2.0 needle, my socks are actually coming out the right size, which is really good. You can see where I did the ribbing, it's quite loose because I think I was still getting used to the needles. So it doesn't quite draw in as much as it usually does, but besides that, I'm actually really enjoying these. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be switching to these needles completely, but it's nice to mix it up. So for this cast on, I used yarn that I think I showed like 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I'm trying to find the label. Here we go. This is from Kunis Wolle, who I've talked about before. She's a German indie dyer, and you can find her webpage here. And it's in her Nachthund colorway in her Stellina sock base. So it's a 75% wool, 20% nylon, 5% polyester Stellina. And can you see how sparkly this is? I absolutely love it. It's very, very sparkly, and the yarn has a really interesting feeling to it as well. Like, it's sort of crisp but still soft. So I'm really enjoying this base. I ordered the same colorway in a non-Stellina base, so I'm going to have matching socks with Kai at some point. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and like I said, this was sort of like the test run for the needles, so I just cast on a vanilla sock. 64 stitches, and I'm going to be obviously putting in afterthought heels because that kind of makes sense with tiny circular needles. So the stitch marker is where I'm most likely going to put in the heel, and that means I'm halfway down the foot. So then I'm going to be switching over to magic loop to do the heel and the toe. So far so good. This is still the first sock, and I'm definitely going to knit the entire pair on these needles and then sort of decide whether I want to keep knitting on these needles or whether I want to go back to magic loop. So I just thought that was interesting, and these needles, at least in Germany, they're quite easy to get. I think I got them with free shipping off Amazon, so it was just worth a try. So that's it for my whips, and I'm getting really hot. I'm wearing my featherweight cardigan, but no longer. So let's just jump into acquisitions. I have one thing to show you this week, a package that arrived. And it's been a super stressful week, so it arrived and I was really happy about it, and then I completely forgot about this yarn. And then I was really happy when I rediscovered it. So I ordered from this dyer last year and really, really liked the yarn, and then just never really found the time or the right timing to catch another update and order again. So I'm super happy that I did. This is from Somerset Yarns, who is in the UK, and she dyes really pretty yarns, and I have one pair of socks knit out of her yarn and it wore really well. I really liked the base. In fact, I liked it so much that this yarn ended up in a pair of socks, in my Find Your Fade, and in all of my blankets. So I decided to treat myself to 2 more skeins. The first one I got is called Gobstopper, and this is on the base that I tried before. It's a 75-25 merino nylon sock. And this just called my name. It's pink, it has speckles, it's super light, and like this sort of thing I just love. So I know I'm going to be knitting with this, either socks or a shawl or something. It's definitely going to be used, and I really just love these colors. And then the second skein that I got, I saw in her store a few weeks back, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then she knit a pair of socks out of it, and it looked really, really, really awesome. And that's this colorway, which is called Midnight Rave. I think she has a normal rave colorway, which is just these crazy neons, and the Midnight Rave has the like dark gray with the neons, and it's not really showing up true to color. I'm not sure what to do about it though. It's looking a little bit brighter than it really is. It's very neon and colorful, and it's sort of like a micro strap on the sock that I saw knit up. So I just thought that was really, really awesome. Maybe if I hold it further back, that's a little bit better. So this is in her BFL sock. So it says 75 BFL, 25% nylon, and it actually feels quite nice as well. I have mixed feelings about BFL bases. But yeah, I'm super happy with this purchase from Somerset Yarns, and this came at lightning speed. I can't even imagine how this got to Germany so fast. It was incredible. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, and that's my only acquisition for this week. So last but not least, all I have to talk about is life in general. So if you're only here for the knitting, then that's it for the knitting content. Now I'm just gonna waffle on about whatever. So in that case, I'll just see you next week, and if you do want to stick around, I don't really know why. It's so funny because I always feel like my life in general segment is just very uninformative and rambly and has no point to it at all. But then I tend to get really, really good feedback on it. So I guess, I don't know. I guess I'll just keep doing it. So for this week, it's been incredibly crazy. I think part of the reason was that work was not only insane for me, but also for Kai. So it just kind of added up, and I think we managed to have like a proper meal together once this week. And besides that, it's just been all over the place. I've had a few appointments all over the place as well, and it's just been crazy stressful. I had my first sort of like bigger business trip to Nuremberg on Friday. Friday afternoon is a great time to have meetings, isn't it? So we spent the entire day there, which was really, really interesting and also super duper exhausting. And sort of the days before that were just leading up to that as well. So it's just been, everyone was a little crazy, and then the weather has been super crazy as well. I think we've had like 30 degrees or more every single day for about 3 weeks in a row now. And I think that just tends to make people very stressed and all over the place. My office gets super, super duper hot because we're in Germany, so we don't have air conditioning. So that's been super intense. Since Friday or since Thursday, I actually have a fan. So that's helping a little bit, but still it just makes working a lot harder. And then I think everyone just tends to be more stressed out when it's hot. So that combination of meeting and stressfulness and heat has not been super great, but it has meant that I just did a lot of stress knitting whenever I had time. But actually, it was really funny. On Thursday, I had a doctor's appointment straight after work. So I left work and walked there in like 32-degree weather, and was kind of thinking, oh, well, at least I can knit in the waiting room. I'm assuming it's going to be nice and sort of cool there. But instead, it was like 30 degrees inside as well. So at that point, I was so tired and so hot that I actually did not want to knit, and that means that something is seriously wrong with me, because that gives you an idea of how grumpy and hot I was. But I'm not complaining. Everything went relatively well. It's just one of these weeks, and yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna get better. I don't really know, but that's just the way it's been, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know that, I guess for both of us, both Kai and me, we're working a lot at the moment, but we both know that that's not going to be that way forever. So that's also, I think, the reason why like I didn't even realize how much sock knitting I did, and that I did nothing but sock knitting. I didn't touch my blankets, I didn't touch my crochet. I just came home and knit a few rounds on my vanilla socks, and that was pretty much it. But nothing wrong with that. So yesterday was Saturday, and I think it took me about half a day to even recover from everything. And then Kai's sister came to visit with her husband and our niece. So that was the first time we saw her. She was born in March. So that was really, really nice. It was really nice to see Kai interact with her for the first time, and we just hung out at our place and ordered in some food, and yeah, that was really lovely and also actually quite relaxing. So yeah, that was really nice. And then today it's raining. It's so weird. After like 3 weeks straight of amazing weather, today it was raining, but it's actually quite nice. So we drove down to the lake this morning just because we wanted to get out of the house, which was a little bit insane because on the way back it was almost impossible to drive with the amount of rain. But it's nice to have some cooler weather. I really enjoyed finally wearing some hand knit socks again. Didn't wear any knitwear for 2 or 3 weeks, and that just drove me insane. It was actually really funny. Kai kept wearing his hand knit socks, like with shorts, whenever he got home from work, and it was too hot for me to do that. But so I'm enjoying being able to wear more knitwear, and I think this is also making me more inspired to think about new cast-ons, because I finished my Excuse Me shawl, but I didn't wear it once so far because it was just too hot to even think about wearing anything woolly or shawl related. So that's quite nice. I'm actually thinking about casting on a shawl today, which I'm really excited about. So if I do, of course, I'll talk to you about that next week. But besides that, I am not planning to do anything at all today. It's already like afternoon, and all I want to do today is knit and watch some podcasts and hang out. And I've realized you can see that I'm fidgeting. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, hopefully next week is going to be a bit quieter. We will see about that. At least I know that there are no trips planned. And then it's only 3 more weeks until we go away to France. So I'm very, very excited about that. As I keep on telling you guys about, next weekend, we're going to be away. We're going to be visiting my sister for her 16th birthday. So that means that there will be no podcast next week unless I manage to scramble something together either before the weekend or after the weekend. I don't really know what's happening with that yet. So once again, I'm just going to see how it goes. Maybe I do a short episode. Maybe I do sort of like a special something. I don't think I'll be vlogging because I am terrible at vlogging, and to be honest, when I travel or when I spend time with family, I'd rather just focus on that than try to record things, and I'm just not very good at that. So with that, I'm just saying I'll be back whenever I'm back. It might be 2 weeks, but probably not. We'll see how it goes. Just play it by ear. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who's watching, who's participating in the CYS Cal, who is commenting, joining the Ravelry group, sending me messages, talking to me on Instagram. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for sticking with me, even with shorter podcasts and crazy times. We'll just see how it goes, and yeah, I'm really, really grateful for your guys' support. So have a wonderful new week. I hope you have lots of time to knit. I'm planning to knit a lot more than I did last week, and then I'll just see you whenever I see you. Have a great week. Thank you again. Bye.